My name is Isaac Iverson, and today we're going to be discussing an issue that we feel affects many engineering students here at Brigham Young University, Idaho. Specifically, we feel that students are not getting enough real-world experience before by the time they graduate, heading into the workplace. So we've come up with several possible solutions, and we're going to be talking about them a little more in depth. Specifically, we feel that 4 of these solutions would be the best. 1, we have students perform more real-world projects in their courses. Another possible solution would be having them be required to attend job fairs every semester. We also feel that another possible solution, rather than doing job fairs, requiring them to do research assignments to really get up to date with things going on in the workplace. And another possible solution is having the teachers be kept up to date with the latest practices in the industry. We're going to start with Kyle, and then we'll go around.
All right, I'm Kyle Rogers, and my subject I'm bringing to this discussion is should students take research assignments every semester? And I think there are a couple reasons behind this, or why I think this would be the best possible solution for our problem. Is first, research really helps a student learn and to grow. We learn stuff in the classroom. The teacher tells us stuff about capacitors or whatever. And going out and actually researching that thing can really solidify the knowledge we have, can really help us have a true understanding of capacitors or whatever, programming or whatever the subject may be. And how going out can really help us, like in the classroom and any other thing we have. And also, nowadays, a lot of companies doing a lot of research projects. They have their own research and develop projects in divisions and stuff like that. And giving students practice and going out and researching a subject can really give them real world experience for jumping right into a company that does that. They would have the experience of going out and looking for a solution to a problem or how to make something better. And they would already have the experience of doing that. And I think that would be one of the best solutions for it.
Okay. My name is Jake Alverson. The topic that I'm going to bring up is the importance of teachers staying current in technology in the fields that they teach. This is extremely important, especially for computer science, software engineering, and electrical engineering majors, because technology is so fast-paced and it changes constantly. The real world, there's always a new thing coming out, there's always new research being done. So I think it's very important for the teachers to know what's on the bleeding edge of technology, what's the new thing, and that way they can propagate to the students the information that they need to know so they can be prepared for the real world. I think one way that this could be done is having teachers and professors attend different seminars or conferences related to the fields that they teach, because they're already experts in those fields. I think it's important for them to continue being experts so their knowledge doesn't become outdated, and they will be able to choose, I think, what information they receive at these conferences will be important for the students to learn so that they can be prepared for real world jobs.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Johnny Joe, and my solution to this problem is to implement into the curriculum more real world projects, so that as the students are learning the material, they're also doing something useful that they can show to employers, that they are learning the skills they're practicing more the skills that they're going to be using during the workplace. This will not only help them to know if they really want to do this kind of job, because they'll already be practicing it. This will also provide for them a portfolio of projects which they can show employers to demonstrate the things that they have done. This could be things that the company works with, so that companies can find students that are working with similar things, so that they'll have already experience in that type of thing. Also, it can help them to show the companies that they work on more than just video games or easy, fun things, to show that they can work on something big, that they can work on a part of a large project, which is more realistic, that they can work on in a team. This is a good thing to companies. It demonstrates, because that's what a company wants, somebody who can work with a team on a larger project and get something to work.
I like that idea. Okay. So once again, my name is Isaac Iverson, and my solution to this problem would be having required attendance to job fairs. This is mainly because at a job fair or a career fair, however you want to word it, students have an opportunity to talk to future employers and recruiters about specific skills that they're looking for in a future employee. Okay, so this will provide them with an opportunity to really get out there and have a clear idea of what they need to work on and what they need to do so that they become an asset to that company. I think this would be great, and I don't think it's too far-fetched of an idea, because currently the school already has like Gateway Seminar Program. Foundation courses, you're required to go attend these seminars for part of your grade. So this could easily be implemented, whereas students, as part of their engineering course, whatever it be, whether it be software or electrical engineering or anything along those lines, they just have a portion of their grade is reserved for attending a job fair and then writing about what they learned. I think that would be a great way to really get the students a good idea of what's expected of them, so that way they can make necessary changes in their lives and in their learning. So these are the solutions that we have proposed. Is there any questions that you guys have, maybe about the method, the way that they would be done, things like that?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So these seminars,
Yeah.
career fairs, things like that.
Yeah.
How would you determine if the student understood or if the student learned well from attending the seminar?
That's a hard one, but I believe specifically with this one, this idea of going through a job fair, I think it'd be really important that the student would write a short essay about what they learned specifically, who they talked to, and what sort of skills they feel like they need to develop in order to be a good employee one day. I think that'd be a very simple way, and then just have the teacher look over it and grade it. Not necessarily for the English aspect of it, but just for the make sure that there was learning involved.
And I think also with that, Isaac, is that because these are real jobs related to the field that the students are studying, I think students will be really interested in going a lot more than if it was a foundations class that they just had to go for a grade, because it's their field of study and it's what they're going to be working in. And so I think it'll be really important for the students, more so than other foundations.
I agree completely with that, John. Sorry, it's Jake, and my apologies. Another interesting thing about this too is there's a couple different career fairs that the school does have. We have one here at Brigham University, Idaho. There's also one down in Provo that you can actually purchase, take it forward, go down there for 2 days and kind of have an opportunity to go around. So, I mean, there are plenty of opportunities for students to attend these job fairs, but I feel like the attendance could be better and it could be more meaningful if we attached a grade to it, attached a requirement.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
When would we require students to go? Like, would it be like first year freshmen, or would we have to reach a certain point in their major before we started?
I think it actually could be attached to. I think it should just be attached to a course at every level. I think it should be something continuous. I think it's something that students should be attending every year of university, not just the beginning and not just the end, because I think it will help. At least from my own personal experience, a lot of times I was confused about what's actually expected of me. But by going to these job fairs, I knew kind of what the employer was looking for, and I think it's useful. I'll continue attending these seminars. I will continue attending these career fairs, so that way I can stay up to date and make sure I'm making those changes in my education.
Okay, so just be like attend like once a year type of thing.
Once per semester, probably.
Okay.
I think
It also depend on the availability of these job or career fairs. It's true. It's really going to be up to the teacher and also the department head to kind of determine, when to do that. Because I'm not sure if every semester actually has a career fair. It might just be fall and winter. I don't know.
Even though I think going to a career fair or job fair would be very important, I feel like either doing research projects each semester or focusing on real world projects, like they talked about, would actually be a little more beneficial for students because of the highly technical degrees that we're going for.
Yeah.
I think the actual work part of it and the product that we will have afterwards of having a project that we did that we can show people, I think that ends up being more important.
Okay, sure.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Question about your research projects. What sort of things, how would you determine what kind of thing you could research that would be beneficial?
Well, with the research project being every semester, it would really depend on what kind of course someone's taking. Like you wouldn't want to give a student who is pretty early on in your major, you wouldn't want to give them a research project that would be for almost someone about to graduate. So it really depend on what their knowledge is of the major or whatever like that. And so I think you have to go up to the teacher that the student would be assigned, you have to do a research project, and you have to come up with a subject. They present that to their teacher, and the teacher would approve that. The teacher would be able to say, you don't know anything about that. It's gonna be very, very difficult for you to do that. Like, are you sure you want to do it and stuff like that? So I think it would be up to the teacher, the individual to come up with the research project, but the teachers would have to approve it and stuff like that.
Good idea.
I actually have a question for this kind of regarding both of these ideas. How are these like projects determined? Like for example, let's say a student takes multiple major courses per semester. Are they going to have to do multiple research projects, multiple real world projects? Or is there going to be some sort of collaboration between the teachers or make it so you can turn in the same thing for both classes? Have you guys given thought to that?
I can answer part of that. I believe that each class should have a specified type of project based on the class, based on the things that are supposed to be learned in that class.
Okay.
So that the curriculum could be based on a certain type of project each semester. So each class could be associated with a different type of project that would be beneficial for the student.
I think you did bring up a good point. For example, some people will take multiple core classes at the same time. And if they both had huge research projects, that might become a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
One idea is I have a friend that's a music major, and they're required to take one particular course. It's the same course that they take every semester, but it's just practice for an instrument, whether it be a guitar or drums or piano or vocals. And I think maybe we could set up something like that, where every semester we have to take this project course, and depending on our teacher or where we're at in our schooling, they'll adapt our project to match the classes that we're taking or our knowledge level.
I kind of like that idea a lot, actually.
So there would be like a teacher over that specific class, and they'd be like, oh, I'm taking this class and this class, and I want to do this type of thing.
Maybe the department will be in charge of it, kind of like an online class where they have the curriculum and they'll know, depending on where the student's at in their degree, they'll say this kind of project will be good for them.
Okay. I kind of like the idea, though, you mentioned to have like one teacher over it and kind of approves it based on what courses you're currently enrolled in. I think that'd be interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's also a great idea too, having a separate sort of like class associated with that project. Interesting.
I do like that, actually. That's a really good idea.
Do you think it would be too much of a load on one teacher to sort of put them in charge of deciding the projects, or maybe a curriculum or a sort of structure could be involved for certain conditions to be met in order to be approvable, something to research or a project?
See, this is something too, I think it needs to be refined. The idea needs to be refined a little bit more. But I think having a teacher the teacher involved doesn't have to be one specific teacher for all engineering students. It could be based on whether electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, software engineering, computer engineering, that sort of thing. And then they deal with the students specifically. Maybe having one teacher assigned to the freshman, sophomore, junior, senior level, that sort of thing. So that way it kind of keeps it manageable. And I feel like the projects themselves would probably be more, not whether or not you graduate from college, but more for kind of enrichment rather. So that's like, yeah, that makes sense.
What do you mean by like enrichment?
To help, expand their portfolio and also expand the skills that they've been learning in their classes. So not necessarily the fact that, they had this project and they finished it all one semester, but the fact that they picked the project, made progress on it, and also grew because of it. Not necessarily like, not something like if they didn't finish the project all the way, they fail, but more along the lines.
So the nature of the program, the project will also be taken into account.
Yes.
If it's something like really difficult and they get close, but they can't really get it right,
Mhm.
they're not going to fail because they didn't get the project finished.
Yeah. But there was growth involved, and also, so I imagine that would also be, it'd be interesting.
Okay.
So I think we'd all agree that that's probably the best choice is real world projects.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Agreed.
So I think, that's a good conclusion. I think more real world projects, or I guess here's one more question to define, what it would be real world.
So I believe a real world project would be a project that relates to a current event, something that's, as engineers try to solve problems,
Mhm.
they're going to solve the current problems that are occurring. So a real world project would be to find a current problem, to base a project on solving that problem, and it would more likely relate to a problem that a current company is solving at the moment.
Okay.
Like if, say, the school website was having difficulty doing a certain thing, one project would be for some computer science majors would be to work through that problem type of thing, or?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Interesting. So I guess we could say to better help prepare the engineering students at this university to be prepared for the workplace, the best solution would be to have like an extra, like a class where they can work on these real world projects. You guys all agree?
Yes.
Or rather, implemented into every class based around more project-based.
Okay. I like that. Any other questions or concerns?
Nope.
Nope. Thank you for watching.